Hi there, it's Ron Gula from Gula Tech Adventures, and today we are going to discuss some of the issues surrounding security labels for IoT devices. Now, I'm recording this video in August of 2023, and over the past couple months, the Biden administration has come out with a number of security initiatives, including a voluntary program for IoT manufacturers to have security ratings for the devices that they sell. This is intended to educate consumers in much the same way that we have food labels that talk about nutrition, or how to talk about different aspects of automobiles when you're buying a car. But what does it really mean to have a security label for an IoT device in a time when there's still a lot of variations and not a lot of consensus on what does it mean to be secure? For example, I could have a really long history of vulnerabilities for an IoT device, but if I patch it today, I might be secure, but historically, I might be really, really, really vulnerable. I might also have an issue from a user point of view, right? If I have to physically patch a device, it's probably a lot less likely that that device is going to be secure. A device that patches itself with automatic updates, such as a robot that can fix itself, is more secure. How do you indicate that? And then even at a very, very high level, if you're into cybersecurity, you realize that there's a lot of different practices you can have on the inside of your SecDevOps, your software development lifecycle. You might have chosen already to have memory safe languages, to have code review, to have, an AI analyze your stuff for vulnerabilities, linking libraries and things like that. How do you actually rate a program like that and compare it? This is a screenshot of my desktop. How do you actually know what these companies are doing on the inside? And can you really be transparent about that in the first place? Now, of course, I've been talking about all of the security issues that might happen to the device that you have in your hands, but almost every device you buy today is hooked into the cloud. What about the security practices for the cloud itself? The cloud APIs, where is it hosted, and so on. And, it's one thing to have the device be secure, but what about the privacy about the device data that's being collected? Does the device have a camera? Does the device have a microphone? Does the device have other types of sensors? If you think about the kitchen of the future, is my refrigerator going to be logging how much beer that I have in it? And who knows how much beer that I'm drinking? That's very much of a privacy issue. And of course, if we collect all this information and send it to the cloud, we need to know who's going and who's selling it. There's a bazaar of PII out there where people are selling our data for both consumer information and advertising, but also selling it to people who want to train artificial intelligence stuff. Maybe the Ron Gula of the future is okay with one of those things, but not the other. And then lastly, where is that data hosted, right? We all know about a label like this, right? It's made in China. But what if it said data in China, right? How do you indicate where these things are at in a world that's increasingly connected, but also increasingly separate from these geopolitical nations that are out there? Well, this is a pretty big issue with a lot of people who've done work on it. When I was researching this, I was really, really just kind of taken aback by, how does the average consumer, how does my dad and mom, buy a device and make a quick decision about whether they should do a device purchase or not based on their privacy concerns? Well, there was a study recently, about a couple years ago, where a wide variety of researchers basically talked to privacy people, and they asked them, what would you want to have in a security label for an IoT device? And they actually gathered this information and created a label. And this label was something that was pretty easy to read. And here's an example on two fake webcams. You can get an overview up that this is called the CASA fake camera, right? But you can see very clearly what kind of data is protected, where the privacy, cybersecurity policies are at. And this is a pretty cool thing. It looks very similar to the automotive and the nutrition labels that I showed before. Now, what they did, which I thought was the best part of this study, is they went out and they asked a lot of consumers, not cybersecurity experts, what did you think of this? And almost everybody they showed it to said, look, this is really, really, really good. We like this. We also like the fact that there's more technical data here than just some sort of high-level rating, right? They can use the information on that label with all the geek speak and the cyber speak and whatnot and do more further research. They also really like the fact that there's some privacy considerations out there, and that privacy was actually one of the bigger motivations of these people. What was motivating these consumers to make a decision. And finally, the one thing that the consumers asked was they wanted to say, if I'm buying a device, but that device is hooked into my Amazon Alexa or hooked into my Sonos or hooked into my Roku, the device should really talk about that ecosystem as well and what kind of privacy and security concerns are there. All right, so I've recorded this in the August of 2023. What should your takeaways be from this? Well, the industry's trying. If we need labels, this is probably something we should have done 5-10 years ago, but we've had a lot of progress in this space. It's going to take a while to get some consensus. But I think in the not too distant future, you're going to be able to walk into Best Buy or see something on Amazon where you're buying a widget, and you're going to have some common ways to understand who manufactured, where it was manufactured, what their software security practices was, and what their practices for the data that they're collecting. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, subscribe to us here on YouTube. Come look at us on LinkedIn or visit us at the Gula Tech webpage. Have a great day and good luck buying secure IoT devices. I'm Ron Gula.